irony. I think these committees will run the country until we formulate a government which take a transitional period for some time to draw a constitution and to put this constitution for referendum in front of the Libyan people. After that, what this constitution stipulate will be the new Libya. We're looking for democratic Libya. We're looking for Libya with multiple parties. We're looking for Libya which has a very good relations with its neighbors, with the Arab world, with the international community, especially with our allies in the past.
It's not going to be easy, though, Mr. Saad, is it, with a country that's been for more than 4 decades centered around one man and his family?
It will be very difficult. It's not easy, especially with the way Gaddafi ran the country. But I am sure that when we have our freedom back, Libyans started their independence, started their state in 1951 from scratch. They could do the same. Libyan gathered to formulate a constitution in 1951, and at that time it was different than now, the education, and now it's easier to sit together and to draw a constitution. I think just Gaddafi should go and we got rid of Gaddafi regime. It will be easier for the Libyan people to get together, to formulate their constitution and to follow suit. This is very, very, very important, and I'm not with those who put obstacles in front of that and saying that there will be a chaos. This is a chaos. What is under Gaddafi Libya is a chaos. Okay. So I mean, there will be nothing but better.
All right. Well, Sir Richard, about a minute ago, and I ask you, sir, irrespective of the facts and figures, obviously there has been a cloud over much of the history with Libya, including its relationship with Britain. I wonder, is this a chance to start again from scratch, to build a relationship with a country that may have a totally new regime?
Well, obviously it is, and that's true for absolutely everybody. It was Condoleezza Rice who went to Washington, went to Tripoli, of course, to sign the American deals with the Libyans, and all kinds of European heads of state have been to Tripoli, of course, continuously since 1999. Right. And regrettable though this seems to people who are dyed-in-the-wool opponents of the Gaddafi regime, I'm afraid it has happened. Right. And obviously, as with Egypt, as with Tunisia, new relationships have to be built, and okay, I hope on a sounder footing. But frankly, the situation in the short term is what we should all be looking at. I mean, if there is a prolonged period of fighting, and there's no doubt that some of the protesters and demonstrators are now armed, what is to become of the mainstay of the employment of 70% of the Libyan people, the income which fuels their families, right, and that is government salaries. Well, so I'm deeply worried about the kind of emergency that might arise, particularly in Benghazi, and I think it's up to the international community, with the encouragement of Libyan forces outside Libya, like those right, that we're hearing from tonight, to put in place an emergency plan.
Well, Sir Richard, I have to stop you there. I have to thank you, gentlemen. We're out of time, but I thank you very much. I know we'll get a chance to talk about this again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us. Remember, you can follow the show on Facebook and see what we're up to there. You can give us your feedback on the topics and post your questions and comments. On the next show, is the pen mightier than the sword? We look at the power of literature to inspire revolutions and ask, what role do artists and intellectuals play on the front line of popular uprisings? Be sure to tune in for that. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.
Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world. Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world.
All the news, all the time. AlJazeera.net/English.
Malaysia has created amongst the world's greenest, most cost-efficient buildings and constructed the most futuristic Formula One racing circuits. Discover Malaysia's service excellence at the Malaysia Services Exhibition Abu Dhabi. Register with Matrade.
All the news, all the time. AlJazeera.net/English.
This is Al Jazeera.
Good to have you with us. Warm welcome to this news hour, coming to you live from Doha with me, David Foster, and from Al Jazeera's centres in Doha and London. These are the main stories this hour. Warnings of a biblical exodus from Libya to Europe as many thousands flee the violence. A Libyan general tells Al Jazeera that an Air Force pilot refused to bomb protesters in Benghazi and ejected from his plane. Defying calls to leave, Gaddafi vows to take on the greasy rats who oppose him. And picking through the rubble after New Zealand's earthquake, searching for almost 300 still missing.
And I'm Felicity Barr in London with the latest Libyan developments from here in Europe, including calls for sanctions grow as the EU meets to discuss what has been described as an impending refugee crisis. Plus, a PhD on democracy. A prestigious London university is urged to revoke Gaddafi's son's doctorate.
It's now around about a week since the anti-government protests started in Libya, and Gaddafi's violent crackdown there continues. Reports say 1,000 people have been killed in Libya in the last 7 days, and Italy's Foreign Minister Franco Frattini says those reports are believable. On the diplomatic front, France has become the first country to call for sanctions against Libya. Lawrence Lee reports.
Muammar Gaddafi may have used his famous Green Book in his address to threaten protesters with death, but in the town of Tobruk, this is what they think of it. Here, the commander of the Libyan army has told Al Jazeera that his forces are with the people, not Gaddafi.
I was with him in the past, but the situation has changed. He's a tyrant. I've heard him in his speech. We're not separate. We're not secessionists. We're not asking for separation.
Pictures like this serve to demonstrate the standoff that's now holding in Libya. The people of the uprising say victory will be theirs. Gaddafi remains immune to pressure.